Mike is in Alcoutim in Portugal. Mike, what would you like to say?
Just going back to your point earlier where you said you feel sorry for Leave voters that are lying to themselves now.
Yes.
But I'm not lying to myself.
Then you're not one of the ones I feel sorry for then.
That's okay then.
So why did you vote to leave?
I voted to leave the EU.
Yes, but why?
Why? Because I don't like the way the money is wasted.
For example?
Just going to their posh building for 4 days a month.
Right.
I mean, what is that all about?
It's a parliament.
Yeah, but why can't they continue doing what they're doing in the building they're in? Why do they have to move everything, all the paperwork, to another building for 4 days a month? Why is that?
Well, I suppose if we were in the European Parliament on a more robust level, we could be agitating to change that from inside, couldn't we? That's how democracy works.
Why would it be more robust level?
Oh, because we keep electing idiots to go to the European Parliament who've got no interest whatsoever in enacting laws or contributing to the legislative process. I mean, best illustrated probably by Farage's record at the Fishing Committee, which you know, of course.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I do know that.
How many times did he turn up?
Once, is it?
Out of?
I don't know how many times. 23, 24.
So there's your answer. I mean, if there's things about the way things are done that we don't like, we should have spent the last 30 years behaving like honest brokers and wielding our power in that parliament. I know less than you do about the mobility of paperwork and offices, but it doesn't sound like much of a reason to embrace £15 billion a year of extra costs, according to the government's own papers, simply to come close to trading in the way that we currently do now, does it? You're worried about wasting money. The government's own analysis says 15 billion quid a year just to do the paperwork.
Yeah, that's true, but this is an ongoing thing.
Well, so would that be? That would be £15 billion a year.
How do you mean, £15 billion a year? That's what it costs them to move, does it?
No, that's what the government said yesterday. It will cost British businesses to simply fill in the paperwork they need to fill in to trade in a no-deal environment.
So they actually said that is what it's going to cost and not what they think it's going to cost.
The government has done an analysis. They wouldn't claim it was biblical. Yes, but this is the government led by Boris Johnson, Mike.
Yeah, but we've all seen these reports of what could happen.
But this is the government led by Boris Johnson, and you've forgotten the script, because you're supposed to say that's a Remainer government. That was Theresa May, who didn't really want to leave. These impact assessments now are the ones that people like Michael Gove are trying to keep out of your hands. And the £15 billion reported either yesterday or on Monday, that's the government that is planning to do no deal, has commissioned or received that research. So I'm afraid that bit of the script where you pretend not to believe that Theresa May is an honest broker, that doesn't work anymore, my friend.
No, well, I don't believe Theresa May was an honest broker.
No, that's what I just said.
I think she was, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But Boris Johnson is, you see, if you're a Brexiter, and he's the head of the government that has received the advice that £15 billion a year is what it will cost. So unless I don't know how much it costs to do the thing you said with the paperwork, but if you really voted to leave the European Union because you're worried about money being wasted, well, you've done a bit of a boo-boo.
You think?
Well, I know.
Well, okay. That's your...
what other reasons did you have? It can't just have been the fact that they operate in two offices.
The continuous movement of people.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Portugal.
Okay, carry on.
So, yeah, our infrastructure in England at the moment is under great pressure to try and support what is there at the moment.
After 9 years of austerity and cuts, yes.
Well, austerity had to happen.
Did it? I mean, austerity is the idea. What are you going to say about borrowing? Because I have to warn you, I know how much this government has borrowed, and I know what the debt is now compared to when they took over.
Exactly, but you can't.
So it's not about that, then, is it?
Unless you can't keep borrowing and not have cutbacks.
Right, but they have.
Yes, they have. But this is something that has to change.
So, Mike in Portugal voted to leave the European Union because there's too much freedom of movement. Is that how we remember this call?
Indeed.
Okay, mate. Now, you know how that looks, right?
How does it look?
Okay, you don't. My bad.